Hello everyone and welcome. Today's class is going to be a vinyasa yoga class with a focus on back bending. So when you're ready, we'll get started. In a seated cross-legged position, you can sit on a cushion or blocks here to elevate your hips if you'd like. And let's just settle into this pose. So reach tall through the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders down your back. Feel your heart reaching to the sky. Belly button pulls up and in a little, so your core is slightly active here. We'll take 2 centering breaths here just to help ground us before we begin our practice. So breathe in deeply through your nose and feel your rib cage and your belly expand as you do this. On an exhale, feel everything contract and draw in. On your next inhale, feel your shoulders move up. And on an exhale, feel them move back down. Just take one more deep breath here in your own time. Drop your chin to your chest here and just feel how that brings a stretch into the back of your neck. Inhale, move your right ear towards your right shoulder, stretching into the left side of your neck now. Bringing it back to center. And then inhale, move your left ear towards your left shoulder, stretching into the right side of your neck here. Breathing deeply. Once more like that, rolling your head back to center, dropping your right ear over to your right shoulder. Maybe pull your left elbow down a little here in your left shoulder. Feel how that deepens the stretch a little. Bringing it back to center. And then bringing your left ear back over to your left shoulder and pulling your right elbow gently down, feeling how that intensifies the stretch. Coming back to center. And then slowly lift your head up. So inhale, open your hands out wide here. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And on an exhale, interlace your fingers and push your palms away from you as you dome out through the back and chin comes to chest. Inhale, open up, look up. Exhale, interlace your fingers, push your palms away, tuck your chin, pull your belly button up and in. One more, just like that. Inhale, open up, shoulder blades squeeze together. Exhale, interlace your fingers, puff out through your spine, tuck your chin in. On your next inhale, reach your arms up really tall alongside your head. And as you exhale, bring your right hand to your left knee as your left hand comes behind you, acting as a kickstand. Reach tall through the crown of your spine here and look over your left shoulder. Just starting to twist your spine. Remember to breathe deeply here. And inhale it back to center. Arms come up alongside your head. Reach really tall. Exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee. Right hand comes behind you. You can look over your shoulder, your right shoulder, if that feels okay for your neck. Reaching tall through the crown of your head and then twisting from your core. Bringing it back to center nice and slowly. And now I'll just turn this way to show you. So we'll walk our fingers behind us with our fingers pointing back. And then we'll use our fingers as a way to open up our chest here. So just push the ground away with your fingers and then roll your shoulders down your back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And you can look up if that feels okay for your neck here. Just starting to open up through our back body and stretch through our front body. One deep breath here. And then slowly coming out of that and roll forward, making your way into tabletop position. So hands come directly below your shoulders, knees are below hips. On an inhale, drop your belly button, tailbone reaches to the sky, chest pulls through your arms, cow pose. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, puff up through your spine, chin comes to chest, cat. Inhale, cow, pull your chest through, tailbone reaches up to the ceiling. Exhale, cat. Dome out through the back, push the ground away with your hands and knees and feet. One more round in your own time, synchronizing breath to movement. And then just bringing it back to neutral. Now we'll step our left leg off to the side of our mat, so our shin comes parallel to the top short edge of the mat, and then bring our right leg back parallel to the long edge of the mat. Right arm comes up, and then let your right hand come in line with your right ear, with your palm facing down, getting a really nice side body stretch here, reaching tall, reaching long through your right hand and out through your right leg. Feel how that creates a nice line of stretching here. Breathing deeply. And when you're ready, bring it back to your tabletop and taking it to the other side. So swing your right leg back and off so it acts as a kickstand and comes parallel to the short edge of your mat. Left leg parallel to the long edge of your mat, and left arm comes in line with your left ear, reaching out through your hand, reaching out to your left leg. Keep your chest nice and open here. Maybe look up to the ceiling if that feels good for you. One more round of breath here. And then slowly, slowly making your way out of that. Coming back to your tabletop once more. So set up so that your knees are directly below your hips again. And then begin to walk your hands out in front of you for puppy pose, heart melting pose. So hands can be shoulder width distance apart or slightly wider. And then just start to lower your chest and forehead to the ground. If you have a block nearby or a cushion, you can place that where your forehead lands to bring the ground a little bit closer to you and perhaps make this stretch a bit more comfortable. Just melting everything down here. Keep your hips above your knees. Relax into your shoulders. This is a deep stretch for your chest, for your shoulders, and for underneath the armpits as well. It's a great way to prepare our body for downward facing dog. Taking one last round of breath. And then using your core and your hands, push yourself back up and then walk yourself into a tabletop position. From there, we'll slowly lower down to our bellies. So tuck your tailbone under here, push the ground away with your hands, lean slightly over your wrists, bend into your elbows, squeezing your elbows in as you lower all the ways down. From there, toes can come untucked, elbows come underneath your shoulders, hands are in line with your elbows. Push the ground away with the tops of your feet and feel how that activates your legs. So your knees and your shins will lift off the mat. Roll your shoulders down your back here. Pull your chest through by pulling your elbows back slightly. It's a very small movement, but it makes a big difference to this posture. One more deep breath here. And then we'll let our elbows fall off to the side, And bring your forehead onto the mat or on top of your hands, just resting here. Bringing your hands back underneath your shoulders and then pushing yourself up into a tabletop as we move into our first downward facing dog. So bring your pointer fingers parallel here. Fingers are spread really wide. Push the mat away with your hands as you bring your hips up and back. Feet are hips width distance apart here. Take a deep bend in your knees for your first downward facing dog. Broaden through the upper back here. So imagine like your shoulders are rolling away from one another so that they come into external rotation. Head can hang heavy. You can look in between your feet or in between your legs. Breathing here. One more round of breath. And then start to walk slowly, slowly, slowly forward to the top of your mat for a forward fold. Take a deep bend into your knees in this forward fold and let your torso rest over your thighs. Grab onto opposite elbows here. Let your head hang heavy. You can sway side to side if that feels good for you. And then let go of that hold of the elbows and then slowly start to roll up to standing vertebrae by vertebrae. Your head is the last thing to come up. From here, we'll just plant our feet into the ground. Feet are hips width distance apart. Shoulders roll down the back. Core pulls up and in a little. Taking one centering breath here. And on your next inhale, arms come up alongside your head, look up. Exhale, fold forward from your hips, slight bend in your knees, head hangs heavy, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. And then exhale, step your left foot back and then drop your left knee down for low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Just opening through your left quad here. Keep looking forward and broadening through your chest. On your next inhale, straighten through your right leg, flex your toes back to your forehead. Keep a micro bend or a deep bend in the knee here, whichever feels good for you. Square your hips to the front of the mat, so that might mean pulling your right hip back a little and your left hip forward here. Folding forward over your right leg with a straight spine. Just starting to open through the back of our right leg here. And then bring it back to our low lunge again. Bring your hands on top of your right thigh. And you can stay here, just stretching into your left quad, pushing the ground away with your right foot, feeling how that stabilizes you and activates your right glute. Or you can bring your arms up and alongside your head, holding on to opposite elbows here and looking up to the ceiling. Reaching tall through your heart. Core is active here to support you. Taking one more round of breath. And then using your core to come slowly out of that. Bringing your hands on the inside of your right foot this time. Heel toe your right foot off and out to the right long edge of the mat for lizard lunge. Starting to get a little into the right hip now and deepening that stretch through the left quad as well. You can stay in stillness or sway side to side if that feels good for you. You can always come down on your forearms here. But no pressure to do that. And from there, start to walk your right foot back in between both hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee off. Bring your back heel down to the mat so that your back foot is at a 45-degree angle, pointing towards the top left corner of the mat. Make sure both feet are on 2 separate parallel lines here, like they're on train tracks, so they're squaring to the top of the mat. Arms come up alongside your head, warrior one pose. You can stay here, or option to take it into a little back bend here. Interlace your fingers behind your back and then start to straighten your arms as your shoulder blades squeeze together and your shoulders roll down your back. Your chest and heart are reaching tall. You can look up. One more round of breath. Slowly coming out of that, and then bringing our hands down in front of us as we step our right foot back for a high plank. Let's take knees down chaturanga for the first round. Drop your knees, tuck your tailbone under here, like in cat pose. Push the ground away with your hands so you're protracting through your shoulders. Lean slightly forward, and then start to lower your elbows halfway as you squeeze them in, holding here, building strength, and then come all the way down to your belly. Baby cobra. Push the mat away with the tops of your feet, legs are active. Lift your chest up off the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your hands off the mat to make sure it's your back muscles that are doing all the work here. And on your next exhale, push it back to downward facing dog. This time we can walk our dog out if we'd like. So bending into one knee and straightening through the other leg. And just switching out between legs here. Keep pushing the ground away with your hands. And keep reaching your tailbone up and back to the sky. And on an inhale, step your left foot in between your hands here for low lunge left side. Drop your back knee down, untuck your back toes. Staying here for our first low lunge Anjaneyasana, broadening through the chest. On your next inhale, straighten through your left leg, half splits. Keep your hips squaring to the front of the mat, flex your toes back to your forehead, and then fold forward from your hips with a long spine. Keeping that micro bend or deep bend in your left knee here. Transitioning it back to your low lunge and bringing your hands on top of your left thigh here. Stay here just tucking your tailbone under and feeling how that deepens the stretch in your right quad. Or if you'd like, bring your arms up and around alongside your head. Reaching tall, elongating your spine, and then holding onto opposite elbows as you start to take it into a back bend, looking up at the ceiling here. Core is really active here, supporting your spine and protecting your lower back. One more round of breath. And then slowly coming out of that, bring your hands onto the inside of your left foot and heel toeing your left foot off towards the left long edge of the mat for lizard. If your left knee points off towards the left top corner of the mat like mine does, let your foot follow. Again, you can always come onto your forearms if you feel called to do so. or just stay on your hands, maybe swaying side to side. Starting to walk your left foot back in between both hands, tucking your back toes under, lifting your back knee off. Back heel comes down at a 45-degree angle. Arms come up alongside your head. Warrior one here. Keeping your hips squaring to the top of the mat. Deep bend in your left knee. Pushing out through the back knife edge of your foot so your back foot is really active here, and back leg. Staying here, looking up in between your hands, or option to interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll your shoulder blades down and squeeze them together. Straighten through your arms. Look up. Getting a nice back bend in the warrior one pose. Remembering to breathe. And then slowly coming out of that, bringing our hands on either side of our left foot, stepping our left foot back to meet the right for high plank. Take knees down, chaturanga, or full chaturanga for full on an exhale. Tuck your tailbone under, lean slightly forward, lower halfway down, squeeze your elbows in. And on an inhale, push it up to up dog, untuck your toes, micro bend your elbows, pull your chest through as you roll your shoulder blades down your back. Push the ground away, transition through a high plank on an exhale, and then come back to down dog. So you can take either of those options. So high plank and baby cobra, or high plank and up dog. So remembering there's never any pressure to take the full chaturanga. Remembering that there's never any pressure to take full chaturanga. So you have the option to take knees down chaturanga if you'd like to, and if it serves you better. Neither version is better than the other. On your next inhale, right leg comes back and up to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step it in between your hands, coming up for a high lunge. Arms come up alongside your head, squaring your hips to the top of the mat here. On an exhale, open your arms up to this cactus arms. Look up, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Inhale, bring your arms up and around. Exhale, cactus your arms down. Inhale, one more time. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, open your hips out to the long edge of your mat. Warrior two, sink into your front knee. Make sure your front knee isn't collapsing inwards, but it's tracking over your second toe. Arms are parallel to the ground, shoulders stack over hips, gaze is over your front hand. Rolling your shoulders down your back. Legs are really active here, just pushing the mat away with your feet. On your next inhale, drop your left hand down your left leg. Right arm reaches up and alongside your right ear and to the back of the mat. Keep the deep bend in your front knee. Reverse warrior. One more round of breath. Using your core to come up and then straightening out through your front leg. Step your back foot in a little to shorten your stance for triangle pose. Shift your hips to the back of the mat and then reach, reach, reach. Right arm tick-tocks to 6 o'clock. Left arm comes to 12. Stacking your shoulders here. Option to look up to your left hand if that feels okay for your neck. Just breathing deeply here. And then bringing both hands inside your left foot, walking your right inside your right foot, walking your left foot back a little for lizard lunge. Again, we can stay in our lizard lunge Or if we'd like to take a twist and a left quad stretch, follow me. Inhale, right arm comes up, twisting towards your right leg. Exhale, bend into your left knee, bring your right hand back to meet it. See if you can grab your left foot with your right hand. Make sure that the weight on your left foot isn't on the knee, but instead it's on your left thigh, your lower left thigh here. You can bring your left foot closer to your left glute, or you can push your left foot into your right hand, just creating some tension here. Slowly making your way out of that, planting both hands onto the mat, tucking your back toes under, stepping your right foot back. Take your version of chaturanga on an exhale. Inhale, baby cobra, up dog. Exhale, push it back, down dog. Left side, inhale, left leg reaches up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step it in between your hands, high lunge, left leg, arms come up alongside your head, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, arms come up and around. Exhale, cactus them down. One more time, just like that. Inhale. Exhale. Opening your hips up towards the right long edge of your mat, warrior two. Heel to heel alignment here in this warrior two. Back toes still point slightly inwards to protect your back knee. Pushing the mat away. Imagine that you're standing on a piece of paper and you're trying to rip it apart with your feet. So you're pushing out to the back knife edge of your foot and you're pushing your left foot forward here. So they're pushing in opposite directions. Reversing your warrior, reaching your left arm up and alongside your left ear, palm points down. One round of breath. Coming back up, straightening through the left leg, shorten your stance, hips move to the back of the mat, reaching with your left hand. It can come onto your ankle, your shin, or the ground, whatever works for you. Stacking your shoulders here. Trying not to curve to your spine, but instead elongating that spine and imagining that it's lying on a wall behind you. From there, bringing both hands inside your left foot, heel toeing your left foot off towards the long edge of the mat, taking lizard, staying here. Inhale, your left arm comes up, twisting your torso towards your left leg. Bend into your right knee. See if you can grab your right foot. Lizard lunge twist. Maybe bringing your right heel a little closer to your right glute, or pushing into your left hand here. One last round of breath. Maybe moving in between both motions. And then bringing your left hand back, planting both hands into the mat, stepping it back, high plank. Exhale, your version of chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, push it back, down dog. Just taking some centering breaths here in down dog. On your next inhale, make your way forward by rolling your spine forward to a high plank. You can drop your knees for this, tuck your tailbone under, and then start to lower slowly, all the way down to your belly. We'll take a sphinx here. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Roll your shoulders down the back, pull your chest through. Just breathing deeply here. You can drop your neck, feeling how that creates a nice neck stretch by dropping the head. Slowly rolling out of that. Let's come to lie on our bellies. Bring your forehead onto the mat, palms out alongside the body, setting up for locust, shalabhasana. Inhale, lift your chest off the mat. Maybe lift your hands as well. Stay here, or lift your legs. Fire up your glutes and use those to lift your legs a little bit higher here. Neck is in line with your chest. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your arms up and alongside your head, or stay where you are for 5. Reach out strong through those legs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Resting here. Taking some deep breaths. Catching your breath back. Now we'll do bow pose, Dhanurasana. So we can bend into your knees here. Reach back with your hand to try grab our ankles or our feet. When you're lifting up into bow pose, keep squeezing your knees together. Don't let them splay off. So knees should be in line with your hips in this pose. So bring your forehead onto the mat. Inhale to prepare. And on an exhale, lift up by pushing your feet to the sky and your ankles and shins to the back of your mat. Breathing deeply here. Use your glutes to lift you a little higher. Keep your knees squeezing in line with your hips. One more round of breath here. And then exhale. Lower all the ways down. Come out of that nice and gently. You can wiggle out your hips here. Moving them side to side if you'd like. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pushing yourself back and up into a child's pose. Knees come out wide for a wide-legged child's pose, and just drop your heels to your hips to your heels as you walk your hands out long in front of you. Just releasing your back after back bends that we just did. Coming up, pushing your hands to the mat, and then let's do some camel pose here. This will be your last pose before a cool down. So bring your knees hip width distance apart as you come onto a kneeling position. Tuck your back toes under here. Bring your hands onto your lower back with your fingers pointing towards the backs of your knees. Tuck your tailbone under here. So it's this motion of cat pose. So the opposite, this, tucking the tailbone under. And then feel how that motion helps to extend your hips forward. Squeeze your elbows together here, reaching tall through your spine, and then looking up slightly and taking it into a back bend in the upper back. Breathing really deep here. Core is active. Tailbone tucks under, hips extend to the top of the mat. reaching tall through your heart, and then back bending the upper back. Coming out of that nice and gently and coming to sit on your heels, bringing your hands onto your knees, and then puffing out through the spine, tucking your chin into chest like a seated cat pose here. Just counteracting from camel. And when you're ready, coming back up to your kneeling position for one more round of camel. You can take the option that we just took, or if you'd like to bring your hands onto your ankles, follow me. Tuck your toes under. Make sure your knees are hips width distance apart here. And then tuck your tailbone under. So feel the hip extension forward. Reach your hands back to hold onto your feet or your ankles. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together. Reach your hips forward. Reach tall through your heart. And then feel how you create a bend in your upper back here. You can stay here, or if it feels okay in your neck, you can let your head hang back. Keep your core active. Keep reaching your heart to the sky. Taking some deep breaths here. Keep extending your hips to the top of the mat. And then slowly using your core, come out of that. Your head is the last thing to come up. Sit down on your heels. Counter stretch, bringing your hands onto your knees, puffing out through the spine, core, pulling back, chin to chest. Slowly coming out of that, coming into a child's pose for another counter stretch to release our low back here. So just open your knees out wide and then walk your hands out in front of you with your glutes coming towards your heels. Just releasing your back. Nice and slowly and gently pushing yourself back into a down dog from your child's pose. Take a deep bend in your knees to help elongate and extend through your spine. Let your head hang heavy. On an inhale, reach your right leg up and behind you. And on an exhale, bring your right knee behind your right wrist for pigeon pose here. Walking your left leg back. Squaring your hips to the top of the mat, so you might need to bring your left hip back a little and bring your right hip back a little and your left hip forward. You can walk down onto your forearms here. If there's any pain in your knee, come out of that pigeon and take a figure 4 instead. You never want to have any pinching or pulling sensations behind the knee. So taking a figure 4 on the back, if that's the case for you, you're still getting that glute stretch that you get in pigeon. Surrendering everything, letting go of everything as we wind down after our practice. Coming up onto your hands, pushing the mat away with your hands, tucking your back toes under. Down dog. Walk out your legs a little after that pigeon. And then inhale, left leg comes back and up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring your left knee behind your left wrist. Walk your right leg back a little. There's no need for your left shin to be parallel to the left mat at all. It can just be angled in like this. Folding forward over your left leg. That feels good for us. And on an inhale, elongate through the spine. And on an exhale, Let it go, surrender it down a little. Give in to this pose. Slowly and gently making your way out of that, coming up onto your hands, and then come onto your left hip and swing your right leg around, extending both legs out in front of you for Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Take a bend in your knees, just because we're releasing our back here after those back bends. Inhale, arms come up alongside your head. Reach tall. Exhale, folding forward over your legs. You can hug underneath your knees here. Just let your head hang heavy as your spine starts to release and as you counteract from your back bends. Maybe you start to straighten out the legs if you'd like, and your hands can come alongside your legs, or they can come and hold onto your feet or your big toes, flexing your toes back towards your forehead so your legs are nice and active here. Elongate through the spine and then fold. Two more rounds of breath here in your own timing. Coming slowly out of that, using your core to come up, bend into your knees and make some space behind us so we can lower down. Bring your arms alongside your legs and start to slowly come to lying down using your core. Come down slower than you think you can. Bring your knees into your chest when you're down and hug around your knees here for a reclined child's pose, reaching your sacrum towards the mat. Opening your knees out wide as your feet come to as the soles of your feet come to face the ceiling. You can hold behind your thighs, onto your ankles, or onto your feet, just taking whichever variation is most comfortable for you. Reaching your sacrum towards the ground. It's okay if it doesn't touch the ground, but just have the motion of it reaching there. You can stay in stillness or maybe move, wiggling your baby side to side. And from there, bring your knees directly above your hips. Bring your shins parallel to your mat. Shift your hips over to the left a little, and then let your knees fall off to the right for a reclined twist here. Keeping both shoulders on the mat, bringing your arms to a T or cactus shape. You can look over your left shoulder if that feels all right for your neck. Just taking this nice twist here to help wind down. Focusing on elongating your exhales longer than your inhales to help activate your parasympathetic nervous system and signal to your body that it's time for rest. Using your core, bring your legs back up, shift your hips over to the right, and then let your knees fall off towards the left. You can look over your right shoulder If that feels okay for you, planting both shoulders into the mat. Letting go of everything, relaxing into this pose. And using your core to slowly come back and bring your legs up to center. Let's set up for Shavasana. So if you have a jumper or a blanket you want to put on or put over you for this, go ahead and grab it now. Extend your legs out long. Let your feet fall out. Let your hands come alongside your body with your palms facing up. Relaxing and releasing into your mat now, surrendering to gravity. Releasing all tension from your face. Relax your neck muscles. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Feel your front body and core totally relaxed now. Release your back body into the mat. Relax your right arm. Melt your left arm into the mat. Feel all tension melt away from your hips as they give in to gravity. Right leg is relaxed. Left leg is relaxed. Both feet are relaxed. Feeling your whole body in this state of relaxation as you let go of all tension from your body. There's no need to grip or cling. Just let it go. I'll give you a few moments here now to just enjoy the state of relaxation in silence. Slowly starting to wiggle our fingers, our toes, rolling out our wrists and our ankles, moving our head from side to side. Bring one knee gently into your chest, then bring the other, rolling over onto one side, and then nice and easily pushing yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Getting comfortable here. Inhale, your arms come up and alongside your head. Look up. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer position as you lower them down to your chest at heart center. Bowing your head to your hands. And just taking a moment here to thank yourself for taking this time out of your day to practice, and to move your body. And then taking another moment to give gratitude and thanks to your body for all of the hard work it does for you. When you're ready, you can lift your head back up and open your eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. And if you did, feel free to subscribe and like or leave me a comment below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.